Transitioning careers can be so tough and challenging, but you just have to stay focused so that you can make sure you get to the end. Now, you may be deep in the trenches of trying to pivot careers, or you may simply just be considering it. And it can be scary, and sometimes it can be extremely overwhelming, but you always have to remember your why. Why do you want to transition? What do you plan to do once you get that degree or certification? What do you want to achieve or accomplish long term? All of these are questions that you might be asking yourself. And you might be wondering, how do I know that this is exactly what you've been thinking? Well, it's because I was in your position not too long ago, so your girl can relate. Thank you for tuning in to Somo Experiences. My name is Irene Sidede, and let me run it back so you can get a better idea as to how I'm sitting right here in front of you on my couch, talking to you about how I was able to transition into the career of instructional design so that I could talk to you about the industry and how you can make that decision into transitioning into the field as well. Now, before I start, hold on, let me get the pillows so that I can get even more comfortable as I tell you this story. So, the year was 2016, and I had just graduated from college. And if any of you have graduated from college, you know how it is. You're lost, confused, you don't know what it is that you want to do next. You're not sure of what the future holds. You're thinking of all the ways that you can utilize what you've learned to start your career or just simply get a job. Like a lot of people did not think about their long term plan while they're in college. So when they graduated, the first thing that they were thinking of is, I just need a job so that I can pay some bills at minimum. Like the minimum requirement was get a job, make money, pay bills. Yeah, so I graduated college with a degree in communications with a concentration in media writing and a minor in art. Yes, your girl is a creative at heart. So I was so ready to just explore the world and start my journey and my career in the media industry. And like most people, even though I didn't have a solid plan, I was so sure that all the things that I had learned and experienced and all the skills that I had developed was going to lead me to something that was going to be so great and so amazing. So I thought. While I was in college, I completed two amazing internships with two organizations that are well known, one of them being NBC. Yeah, so for some time within my degree, I was doing a lot of journalism work. Not only was I writing news reports, articles, but I was also reporting. So I would go out there, be on the scene, get in front of the camera, report the breaking news or whatever it is that happened at the time, and also go into the studio and do voiceovers as well as edit the actual news package. And that experience was so interesting and also so exciting at the same time. But after being within news, I slowly transitioned out of news into filmmaking. I did a lot of projects where I was a production assistant, and I'll dive a little bit into script writing, and sometimes I'll get in front of the camera. So not only was I sure that, I was going to be fine and I was going to make it, but everyone around me was. And that's because I've kind of been someone who's always been very intentional with everything that I do. And I strive to make sure that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. Like, I don't care who it is, what it is, where it is. If I sign up for it and I know that I can do it, I'm going to be the person who's going to do an exceptional job at it. So, not only was it just me who had this belief that things were going to work out, but everyone around me, because of my track record, they were also like, oh, she knows what she's doing. She'll be extremely fine. And she's secured such amazing internships. Oh, she's definitely going to get a job once she graduates college. Well, unfortunately, we were all wrong. Like, when I say wrong, we were wrong. Like, and I laugh now because I've gone through the process. But when I think back, like if we all betted on me actually getting through into this industry, starting my career, being okay, we would have all lost a lot of money. Like I'm talking thousands of dollars. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like life is just so unpredictable, and sometimes what you think will be is not what is going to be, and sometimes is not what is best. But that doesn't mean that there's not other options or other plans for you that will also lead into a path of success. Now, I'm pretty sure you're wondering what exactly happened, because if there was this trajectory of me going into a path where it looked like I was going to end up in success, or having these internships and developing these skills that would have led me somewhere that was amazing, well, what actually happened was life. Life happens. Life is real, and life sometimes things happen that are out of your control. And if you're not mentally ready and prepared, it can really deter your trajectory of everything. So, what exactly happened was 3 days before my graduation, a member of my family passed away. And that situation really affected a lot of things. Not only did it affect my mental health, it affected my financial support at the time. And it also impacted the way I viewed life, because at that time I was what, 21? So my frontal lobe hadn't developed fully, like just being honest. So a lot of the things that I thought were real completely shifted. Like my reality shifted in the blink of an eye. Like I don't even know how to explain it. So my graduation was crazy. So I had to walk on stage knowing that that person had just left us. And it was a crazy situation because people were telling me, "Hey, congratulations and condolences" in the same sentence. So you can just imagine how processing that can be extremely difficult. And then fast forward a few months later, as you know, with life, there's seasons. Some seasons are good, and some seasons are just honestly not the best. Unfortunately, I was found in a season of just things just not working, things not going well. And this was back to back to back. So it went from me losing a loved one to me not being able to find a job, which was so interesting because I kept on putting application after application after application. And each time it was just rejection letter after rejection letter after rejection letter. And it was so heartbreaking. Like that whole experience was so heartbreaking, but I never was discouraged. That was the good thing. Like there was never a time where I felt like I'm not going to be able to push through. I just needed to stay focused, stay motivated, and stick to knowing that at some point things are going to work out. I just remember that's something that I kept saying. Things are eventually going to work out. The process of me applying and receiving rejection letter after rejection letter just kept going on for months and months. So I went from saying, okay, fine, if I cannot find a job the within the industry of, media and communications, I'm going to go ahead and just find any job that I can find that will be able to pay the bills and, at least cover rent and all that stuff. So I ended up getting a job in a call center in health insurance. Huh. Now, if any of you have ever worked in a call center, you will know that that is one of the most stressful jobs ever. And it made me respect people who work that job even more. Like, even to this day, I will never be one of those people who pick up the phone and start yelling at someone, because come on, like, be for real. Even if you know that there was a mistake that was made on their end, it's just so rude and so disrespectful to just start yelling at someone on the phone, especially. So I respect people who work in that field and make sure not to do stuff like yelling, complaining, or just being rude. And I also tried to give them a score of 5 or 4 and above. So if you ever get one of those surveys, please do them and then put a good score, because it does help those agents so much when they have to do their audits and all that. Anyway, I digress. I ended up being caught up in a situation or a season that lasted me more than a year. And then shortly after that, guess what happened? COVID. And for all of you that know, COVID was not something that was good for anyone at all. COVID was a situation that was detrimental for all of us, and this was around the world. So now, not only had I just gone through losing someone, gone through the process of being rejected from every job position that I could possibly have applied for, settling for a job that I did not really like or enjoy, and then being hit with COVID. It was crazy. And there are other things that happened during this time that I'm going to have to explain in another video, because otherwise this video is going to be so long. So at this time, I just remember I felt so lost, so confused. I also remember feeling angry, like so angry, because I was just like, why is nothing working out? And apart from feeling angry, most of all, I was so heartbroken. Because can you imagine expecting to have a certain kind of life and just having these goals and these plans of knowing and being sure that things were going to work out for you, and then none of it works? I'm talking about none across the field. And not only is it not working out, there's also other things that are happening that are out of your control. It was just so heartbreaking to feel like nothing was going to work out. And I was just in this cycle of just going through bad news and bad experiences. Until one day, I was talking to a friend of mine, an old friend from college, and she was telling me how she had just graduated and completed her master's. And she said that she's so happy she made that decision because it's changed so much that she's experienced. She also experienced some things here and there, but she said that making that decision was so good for her because now things have been so different and she's been thriving and excelling. And, she's been making decent income as well. So I asked her, I was like, what degree exactly is this that you did or that you took? And she told me, I did my degree in instructional design and technology. And I was like, hmm, what the hell is that? I was like, what is instructional design and technology? I've never heard of that before. One. Two, it doesn't even sound real. Like, if you think about it, instructional design and technology, huh? So I started asking her questions of what exactly that meant and what does her day to day look like? What does her job description entail and all of that? And she gave me all the details of this specific career. And if you haven't already, I do have a full length video of what instructional design is and some of the career paths that you can get into. I have them linked in this video so you can take a look. But after talking to her, I was like, hmm, this sounds like something that I could possibly do. So even though I didn't have like any experience with teaching or training, I knew that this was something that I could learn how to do. And also I knew that with the skills that I learned from communications, I could also transfer those skills. So I did have skills that were highly transferable from communications into instructional design. Now, the technology part was where I was kind of concerned because I'm like, I don't have a tech background. I have no idea about like coding and all of that stuff. And she said, oh, you're not going to need to know how to code. I mean, you can learn it if you would like to and apply it within the industry, but you don't really need to know. She's like, the technology part is more of like understanding the software and then understanding how learners use those software or learning how to design learning experience using different technologies. I said, oh girl, say less. I was like, I think I'm actually going to consider getting into this degree. So here's the challenging part. So, as you heard, I said I was working at a call center at the time. So I don't know if you know, but people who work in that field don't make that much money. While I was working there, I was saving up and all of that, but I was not broke, neither was I rich. So I would say I was like medium broke. I was not making enough money where I could be like, okay, I'm gonna take a degree and actually pay for it out of pocket. So I had to start thinking of creative ways to find out how I was actually gonna get into a program for free. And I just remember thinking, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but I'll find a way. I'm like, where there's a will, there's a way. So I'm going to get into this program somehow, and I'm going to get in the program for free. I started searching for different ways and different methods. I looked at internships, I looked at graduate assistantships, I looked at all these options, and a lot of them I was like, this is so much work. Like, applying for scholarships is like applying for jobs. It's also like a full-time thing, and you have to write essays and all of this. Now, there are people who are amazing at doing that, but at the time, I had a full-time job, so it was not the best option for me at the time. Because I am a fan of YouTube, not only do I make videos, I also like watching other people's content. There is a girl that I saw, her name is Teamo Erin, or her channel is Teamo Erin, and her channel was all about her journey as a graduate student. And I remember I used to watch her video, and at the time, because I wasn't really considering getting a master's, I just enjoyed her content because she was very personable, very relatable, and her story and her journey was so fascinating to me at the time. But I remembered she did one video where she talked about the different ways that she's been able to get her master's for free. And one of the ways she mentioned was working in the institution in which she wanted to get her degree in. So, what she did is that one of the benefits in the institution that she worked for, they offered the benefit of free tuition. As long as you're a full time staff member, you get free tuition. I said, there we have it. So I used to be a student employee when I was in college. And within the department, I did develop a great relationship with not only my colleagues, but also my boss at the time. And he was still working in that department. So I contacted him and I was like, hey, I'm currently looking for a full time job. Is there anything available? All of that. And then I also did mention I would like to also take advantage of the benefits so that I can get my master's. A lot of things worked in my favor because he knew me personally. He knew my work ethic because I did work for the department and I did work under him. And he also knew that I was trying to get my master's. That actually helped because they knew that for sure I was at least going to be there in that position for a while. A lot of you may be like, well, that might not be the most fair way or most fair route. But let's just be real. In most industries, what you know matters, but it's who you know. That's why they always stress networking. You have to network with people while also showing them that you have the skill set. That's just how it works. In this case, it actually worked out in my favor, and I was so grateful because I got the opportunity to start my master's. And I have currently been doing my master's degree. I should be graduating hopefully around this time next year. That is actually like so exciting to me because with my journey, I never expected to even be here in the first place. But not even going to talk about being excited to be in this position that I currently am in where I'm doing my master's. But even with my career, after my first semester in the program, I actually was able to get a promotion within our department. And that promotion was in a position that was directly related to what it is that I'm studying. So the promotion was in the instructional design field. And the reason why I got that position was because I did an internship for my department and also built a course. I built a training course for the student employees that I work with. I did do a full length article, which did get published for my experience on that. So I'm going to link the video on how to write your way to success in this video, because I did talk about my journey publishing that article in that specific video. So I do encourage for you to watch that as well. Within a short time, like things just started working out for me, and like within the position that I was in, I created a course. That course helped me write an article that was published by one of the biggest educational technology organizations. And then after that, I did my internship, and that internship led to me landing the role that I currently am doing right now. And within this role, I've also been able to create another training course which is being accessed by over 1,000 faculty members as we speak. I've just grown in such a short time, and it's been such an amazing journey. And I was so glad that I made that decision. So I say all of this to say, if you're someone who's considering transitioning careers, especially into the instructional design field, please just take that leap of faith and do it. And I'm going to say, especially if you know that you're going to be successful in it, just take that step and actually do it. And I'm going to also stress that you have to be intentional. A lot of the reasons why things did work out for me, especially in a short period, is because when I got into the field, I said, I'm going to be intentional with everything that I do. So every course that I build, how I'm building my portfolio, who I'm networking with, how I'm going to utilize the skills that I learned while I was doing communications into this field as well. So I use my writing skills. Right now, I'm using my media skills. So with recording this video and like editing, also my design skills that I learned while I was an art major is also very translatable when I'm building these different courses, because one of the things you have to ensure is that the courses are engaging, and also the visual design is attractive so that the learner is engaged with the content. Thinking about how my life has changed in such a short time has been such a blessing, and I'm just so grateful. So I do stress for you to consider transitioning into instructional design, and as always, be as intentional as you can be, and you hopefully will also see success. Now everyone's journey is different, so it might not be similar to how mine played out, but for the most part, it is an industry that you can definitely succeed in. So even though all of this has been accomplished while I'm still a graduate student, I still plan to continue to be open, intentional, and fearless when thinking about the future. And I hope that, you guys will still be able to join me on this journey here at Somo Experiences. So if you haven't already, make sure to like, comment, share, but most importantly, subscribe so that we can go on this journey together and we can also learn together. Because although, I'm here sharing some of my experiences and sharing the knowledge that I have, there's also some things that I just don't know. So I would love to learn that from you and with you. This could be a cool exchange that we all have together, and hopefully we can be able to create a community of instructional designers or e-learning developers and ed tech professionals, and we can just discuss different ideas or share our different journeys and experiences, give some tips and tricks on how we've been able to be successful. Oh, I'm so excited. Now that you know my journey and my experience and how I was able to transition careers, and I hope that it was encouraging for you to make that move. And I just want to end this video by stressing that you owe it to yourself to have a better life, to do better, and to live a life that is holistically fulfilling for you. With keeping that in mind, I do hope that you make the best decision for yourself. And thank you for watching this video. Again, my name is Irene Sudede, and I will see you in the next one.